Welcome in, everybody, to a Thursday night edition of the Philly Guy Speaks. Joe Quill's here with you, and for some reason, hold on. Yeah, for some reason, my computer is starting to play music here, even though it's not playing anything because I don't have a microphone hooked up to it. But, anyways, welcome in. Joe Quill's here with you on this Thursday night here on the Philly Guy Speaks. Hope everybody had a great week. I am officially on vacation. Well, I was officially on vacation as of last night, but I did have an opportunity to try to rest. Didn't happen last night. Not because of anything that was work related, just had some personal things I could get done. Yesterday, I had a doctor's appointment with my MD. Everything's good, don't worry. Just my quarterly checkup. And I had an eye test today, because my doctor can be a bit of a stickler. And I put off this eye test I have. I have to get a diabetic eye test once a year. So I put it off a little too much. And and the weird part was I went to my doctor. I think he was so happy I got a colonoscopy that I think he was so thrilled with me that he said, "Oh, don't worry about the eye test." I'm like, "Dude, I'm getting it because I put it off too much with everything that was going on in my personal life with my dad and having to get the colonoscopy done and work and everything else." So, and also my office moved on me. The office I go to, it's no longer on Boston Avenue. It's down Grant Avenue. So it's a little bit of a pain in the ass, but whatever. But got a lot to talk about here tonight. And if anybody comes in tonight, you're more than welcome to knock. Hit that knock button, and we'll have some fun here. We'll talk about whatever. I got my topics, but like I always say when I create my tweets and stories and everything else, I put the notes on the for the show when I go on to No Filter. I always tell you guys planned, and the reason why I say planned is I want you guys to steer the ship, so to speak. Granted, I still have to steer it every once in a while, but I'm not afraid of letting you guys take control of the show with everything we whatever you want to talk about. And I guarantee you, there's going to be some topics I'm going to be like, well, maybe I don't know what I don't have an opinion on it, but whatever. But that happens from time to time. So I hope everybody had a great week out there. And coming up, a former Eagle was released from another team, and Philly Twitter went batshit crazy. Von Miller got himself into trouble this week on his bye week, and some LeBron James news, family-related news. I got the game on the computer here on the side here. It's Thursday Night Football, and just a reminder once again, they tell you, oh, you got to get Prime Video, or you got to get a Amazon Prime account. No, you don't. Just go to twitch.tv/Prime Video. You can watch a game like I am right now, even though I already have Amazon Prime. So Dallas is up 17-14 right now, and it leads me to my first topic tonight. And I feel very dirty right now. And Dallas is down to the 10-yard line. And there's a reason why that I am feeling very dirty as an Eagles fan tonight. Well, part of it is because I've been basically the Howie Roseman of the Mike Abdier Show League. And by the way, I did clinch first place on Monday night. I think I said on Tuesday, but I feel dirty. And now, not dirty as in
Two chicks at the same time, man.
not that dirty. Actually, that would be dirty fun. Uh, I feel dirty because I have Jalen Hurts as my quarterback. And for some reason, not one, but two guys in the league dropped Dak Prescott. I'm thinking, shit, you guys don't want to win this year, do you? And I ended up picking up Dak Prescott about a month ago. I used him for the Dallas when the Eagles were on a bye week, and I was talking to my friend SJ because we were talking about a whole bunch of things this afternoon once I got back from the doctor. Um, and the one thing I said, I want your opinion on this because I'm feeling a certain way. Jalen Hurts is my starting quarterback. I have Dak Prescott as a quarterback. Thank you guys for being idiots. So I got two of the top three quarterbacks in fantasy this year right now because people didn't want to keep Dak Prescott. So I thought, why not? So I picked him up. So I asked her, I said, who would you start if you had a dream quarterback combo like this on your fantasy team? Now, for those that don't know, Dallas is playing Seattle right now, and I'm not scared of either team. But I mean, either of those teams. But the Eagles have the tougher matchup facing San Francisco this weekend. Actually, Dak Prescott was projected for like 22.6 points or something like that. Jalen Hurts was projected for, I think, 21 and a half, something in that ballpark. And I noticed it today, this morning, when I was either just getting back from the doctor's office or this morning, or I might even got it last night when I was working on things. But it said, "Oh, you got a quarterback that's gonna is projected to score more points than your starters." I'm like, all right, well, I have a stack in either way, and what that basically means is I have a quarterback receiver connection where if they do score a touchdown, I get two touchdowns. I have want to get the name right here because I don't want to. I picked up Jake Ferguson, another pickup um, at the end of September. So I picked him up the middle of September, and I picked up Prescott. So I have that stack. I also have the Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith stack. So I'm set either way. And like when I was talking to Mike Abadir Monday night after the game, when he was congratulating me on clinching first place, he said, "Your team's been consistent all year." I said, "Yeah, I've been very lucky all year." And um, I also mentioned how I I'm 0.58 points away in week 3 of having a perfect season going. That's how dominant my team has been all year and how consistent. And I'll tell you what, it's easy when your starting lineup is like the Rompopil rotisserie grill where you just set it and forget it. Thank you, Tony, for that reference because he uses that a lot of times with different things on his show. So, so I'm in the playoffs. I got the number one seed. Everything's locked up. I'm just going for records now because I did some research on the league that I'm in. It's in the 6th year. I think it was the 2nd year. Somebody went 11-2 in the regular season. I'm 11-1. I got winnable matchups the next 2 weeks, obviously. I actually was an underdog last week. And there's a possibility I can finish the regular season 13-1, something that nobody's done in the Mike Abadir Show League. Now, it doesn't mean anything if I lose in the playoffs, and that could very well happen. I know it, but you got an opportunity to do things that nobody's done in this league, and I'm hoping for that. But I do feel dirty. But when it comes to fantasy football, you really got to put your fan loyalties aside. And some people have a hard time with that. I know we even listened to Preston and Steve when Casey Boy was talking on the air, and they were talking about fantasy football for some unknown reason. He said, "Oh, I can't draft the Dallas Cowboy." And the one thing I will tell you guys, I'll probably tell you guys in July and August when fantasy football season starts. Sometimes you got to realize, hey, even though they got the enemy colors on, you got to win it. You're in it to win it. And I had to do something very dirty tonight, and that was start Dak Prescott, who's gotten me so far in the first half 17.84 points. So, going according to plan so far. So things are looking good for me right now, even though it's only Thursday night. But, and if you're listening to this even after the fact or watching after the fact, let me know. You can hit me up on Twitter at Joe Quills. Still got to get the email fixed. I did not contact anybody in regards to joe@bleacherbrothers.com. I did not have that. I forgot the password somehow. So, but Dak gets a running touchdown, but that's coming back. But yeah, it's one thing I would say is let me know what you think, and that's why that screen now has the ways that you can catch everything that I do, whether it's articles on Bleacher Brothers. I had one yesterday that came up today about, or it came up today. That's right, because I was sharing it this morning about how Delaware went to Conference USA. I gave some thoughts about it and said some of the things I mentioned on Tuesday night. Also, there's an article coming out tomorrow. At least I hope they do it on time. Never had a problem because these are time-sensitive things. I get them done as quickly as I can. And after the show, I'm going to be doing my pick for Saturday. But Dallas kicks a field goal here. It's 20-10, or 20-14. I mean, or there's another flag on the play, so we'll see what happens there. But yeah, let me know. Or you can tweet me at Joe Quills. Let me know. Do you refuse to draft anybody or pick up somebody in the free agent market because they wear your enemy team's colors? I explained it a couple of years ago to one of my friends that, hey, I'm not worried about the colors. I'm worried about the color green at the end of a season because I want to be the champion. I want the money. I want to be like Jerry fucking Maguire and saying, "Show me the money." I don't have that as a drop on here, but I would have played it if I did. But you get the idea. So yeah, I do feel dirty doing that, but it's not about the blue and silver Dallas versus the Eagles midnight green. It's about winning a championship, and I'm looking to do something that hasn't been done in that league, and that's go 12-1 with a week to go. Nobody's won 12 games in the regular season. Granted, we have an extra week in the regular season now with the fact that we do have an 18th week of the NFL season, which leads to a 14-week regular season. You don't have an 18th week in fantasy in most leagues because My players aren't playing well. In my opinion, that makes you a better fantasy owner because guess what? You can say, well, Eagles are not Eagles are not playing DeAndre Swift. They're not playing Jalen Hurts. They're not playing AJ Brown. They're not playing Devontae Smith. Pretend in Week 18. Hmm. Boston Scott. Hmm. Which reminds me, I got to pick him up on fantasy in a couple of weeks because if I'm in the playoffs, he goes off against the even if it's um, just to protect another team from getting him. Matter of fact, I may do that later tonight. Now that I mentioned, but yeah, let me know what you think about that. Do you, you know, are you totally against picking somebody that's your team's arch rival, or is it the color green matters more than just a um, you know, does the color green, money green, is that more important than a rivalry between your team and another? So let me know what you think there. Joe Quills, Joe at bleacherbrothers.com. If you watch the video on YouTube after the fact, all the information is on there from beginning to end, and my logo and everything else. So Thursday night football next week, Patriots and Steelers. Let me give it to all the NFL fans out there. I probably got that a little too loud, but I got the wrong volume played around with. There we go. We'll fix that a little bit. There we go. So yeah, so that's my football situation right now. Let's go to some disturbing news. I'll go a little bit away from that. I see I do have an anonymous user, viewer, not user viewer, but they didn't log into the account apparently. I guess. Welcome in, John or Jane Doe. Not Homer Simpson saying "Doe," but you get the idea. But also with all that information right there on the bottom of the screen there, if you have a problem getting in or getting logged in or anything like that, let me know. I'll try to help you guys the best I can. I know AJ Johnson, and hopefully I'm not getting him in trouble with this, but if you have a hard time getting in, and especially because on my side I can check everything starting with like a half an hour before the show starts, so I can do what I have to do, So, even if it's just preparing ahead of time, like, okay, 1 o'clock for a 9 o'clock show. And by the way, my shows aren't created for next week because I'm still debating, do I want to do an earlier show? Do I want to do my regular show? I don't know. I think Tuesday's going to be early because I think I want to get ahead of Eric Burns and Will Clark. Because who knows? Maybe I start at 7 and then watch them at 9. I don't know, but I'm just speculating. So, but we did have some disturbing news in the NFL today, and I'm not going to say he's innocent. I'm not going to say he's guilty, but Von Miller had a warrant out for his arrest. He turned himself in today for allegedly assaulting a pregnant woman, and it was his girlfriend. The one thing I'm going to say here is, before I get into some of the details that were on this story that I found before I started the show tonight, the one thing I will say is, more than anything else, people judging him to say he's guilty or not guilty, even if it's, even if a jury says, kind of like what they did with the Trevor Bauer story. Now, do I think that he did something? Trevor Bauer is? Yes. We just can't prove it because guess what? At the end of the day, the court said it's not worth taking this to trial because everything was wishy-washy anyway, even though I do still think he did something. But in this case right now, we have some things that are going on here that are disturbing. And, the only thing I would say, more than anything else, is just don't put yourself in that position. And I know sometimes, and trust me, sometimes you get so pissed off at somebody, even if it's just a screaming match. Sometimes somebody just pisses you off to the point where you just start screaming for no reason. The only thing I will say is just don't put yourself in that position. And I see somebody in here. Hello, SJ. She finally made it. And if I had a sound drop that was yay, I would do that. Well, this is me. Well, this was me when I saw her name pop up. Yeah, that's the stuff you got to deal with. And you're going to make me put on my glasses. I don't know where the hell I put them. Hold on. I just learned how to type on this app. The app never works. Yeah, my eyes don't work either when I don't have my glasses on. Shit, what the hell? They're over on my other desk. Hold on. And I just kicked the cord out from my computer. Ugh. And SJ, thank you for the encouragement of going with Dak Prescott today. So far, I got 17.84 points with him, and I got 6.6 with Jake Ferguson, even though we didn't discuss that today. But let me get rid of Facebook there because I am going to end up getting IN, and I'll come up here. And she had Ferguson 25 plus. Nice. Yeah, because the one thing is, Ferguson has 36 yards so far, 3 for 36. That's 6.6 points for me so far, better than last week. Just need Pollard over 50. Is that rushing or receiving? Because I remember you posting a bunch of things, but I don't remember them off the top of my head. And that's probably why I'll be perpetually single till the day I die, because, honey, can you get me a quart of milk and get this and that? Oh, I'll get the chicken, I'll get this, I'll get that. Even if we go and say whatever. And by the way, the Flyers tied the game up in down in South Philly 3-3 with the Devils, but we're not really paying attention to that. We're paying attention to, holy shit, what a catch by the hyphenated guy, Smith the Gibia or whatever, however you pronounce it. But there's a flag. I think that's DPI, so I think that's going to be a touchdown. But the one thing I'm going to say, and I'm going to say this before I get back into the Vaughn Miller show. Yeah. Well, my TV would be on time, but I wanted to look this way for the game, so I'm watching it through Twitch. And like I say, why use, you can get around that Amazon Prime issue. It took me half a year to find that out last year, even though I still use Amazon Prime. That's not coming. That's going to get reversed, I think. But who knows? And shit, she left. But anyways, she's when she comes back, I'll let her hear what I. There she is. One thing I'm gonna say is check out her stuff on Ball is Life. Not. Wait, do I have that sound drop? Hold on. Well, I got this drop here. I don't think I have the other one. Yeah, I said Ball is Life, Al Roker.
You said balls.
But yeah, that's the stupid stuff that I do, and I got that from Tony Bruno. So, but go to Ball is Life. She writes great articles. I mean, I can't keep up with all the stuff all the content that she creates. Some days she does 3, 4, 5 articles, and then she has her basketball picks, her football picks, the nose picks. Oh, I'm sorry, not that. But just the one thing I say, and Eagles money line picks. You know what? I'm going Eagles money line on Sunday. Well, just gave one of my picks away, but the one thing Eagles are playing San Francisco. That's why I did not start Jalen Hurts this week. That's why we had that consultation, and I probably owe you a consultation fee. Owe you God knows what else. But check out bullislife.com. She churns out so much stuff. You're welcome. And I feel guilty. I felt guilty for like 6 months on Bleacher Brothers, where I did 2 articles in 6 months. They're going to be getting an article a day from me for probably the next 10 days. But, you can check her out there. I thought about doing the joke there, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to go anything I'm going to actually be a nice person for once. I'm at the point here where they announced that it's they reversed the catch. So you're probably talking about the next play, which is not that big of a deal. Yeah, still 2014, and as long as they don't give it to Tyler Lockett, I'm okay. And Noah Fant with the touchdown, so that's good. So that helps me fantasy-wise. So Seattle's going to take the lead there. And I'm feeling good about those next 2 games. The Dallas game and then the Seattle game. I got news on the Seattle game as well coming up. But first thing I want to say is, check out her stuff. I say this in a positive way because we can use this word in a negative way so much. She's a workaholic. She works her ass off. Give her a follow. I'll put it in the notes. We'll go from there. But then again, I'll make you read the notes. But Metcalf with the touchdown. Did they review it? Except today, she didn't do much. Well, she was in a meeting. Well, this is what happens when you watch a game and you don't have the sound up. It's like, wait a second. I thought, I don't care. As long as it's not the 16 on Seattle, I'm happy. And I wouldn't mind Dallas losing and the Eagles winning to get a 3-game lead in the division, but that's stuff for another day. But yeah, so check her out. Check her out like a library book. Um, and she's got a lot of great content, and she's also on Twitch. Also, check her out there when she starts back up. She was testing stuff out yesterday, and I was distracting her like I always do with jokes and stuff like that. So, um, and I'll have that in there as well, as long as I remember. Because I'm the bad male. I only remember what I want to remember. It's all part of that sponge mentality that I have. But anyways, um, but let's get to the Von Miller thing here. I kind of started when I saw that SJ actually signed in. You know, I thought she was going to be my personal stalker and watch the show anonymously and tell me what a crap job I did. But whatever. But anyways, Von Miller was turned himself in today after he assaulted his girlfriend. And like I said, just don't put yourself in that position. You know, the some of the guys are on Bleacher Brothers. They'll say, "Oh, Trevor Bauer's innocent." Do I believe something was there? Yeah, they just couldn't prove it because also the one of the two women that accused him of things weren't that good with their case and whatever. It's neither here nor there. This is a different case. There's all kinds of details here where he got an altercation with his girlfriend who's pregnant. Um, and like SJ says, um, she says she's watched me anonymously many times. Um, she said she just figured out how to make an account, but the Von Miller news doesn't sound good, and it doesn't sound good. Um, you know, the only time I say put a hand on a woman is if she wants to be touched, whatever way that is. Now, I do not condone the stuff that he's allegedly did, and especially a pregnant woman, the mother that's carrying his child. Now, I don't know if he knew. I think he knew that she was pregnant. That she announced to him at least that she's pregnant. But there was a major disturbance call that was made yesterday around noon Eastern, 11 Central. They got into a verbal argument, and he allegedly assaulted her. There were choking. There were bruises from a choking incident. I don't think there was anything where it was like repeated punches or slaps or anything like that. But still, choking is enough. Now, she's going to try to open the app again. But I'll say this: just don't put yourself in that position. And even if it was just a verbal altercation, sometimes it's just you get so angry, you just don't know, you just forget everything. And trust me, I've gotten so angry that it's a 20-degree day outside, and I'm so steaming hot. It's like I'm 100, like it's 105 out. I'm sweating and everything, and I can understand going to just go nuts, and and probably lost all sense of common sense there. And we're all guilty of it in some way, shape, or form. It's just that some just go too far, and from everything that's said here, it looks like it did go too far. Um, per the affidavit, 'Cause, 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 'cause he stepped on her feet and pushed her, which caused her to fall into a chair. Then, using one hand, applied pressure to her neck for 3 to 5 seconds, which caused pain but not difficulty breathing. Miller grabbed her phone and threw her laptop on the floor and stomped on it. I mean, really disturbing stuff here. But the problem is, it's like, I'm not taking sides on here. I'm just giving my thoughts here as I go along here. He actually even and I'm trying to find it here because I did see it here. He at one point took out his phone to try and record the altercation. Dumbass. You have that on your phone, even if you delete it a half an hour later, forensics can get that information. And I don't know what I don't know what he was thinking. But this is a horrible thing. And I don't know what they're going to do. The Bills said today in a statement that we were made aware of an incident involving Von Miller. We're in the process of gathering more information. We'll have no further comment at this point. NFL also released a statement saying we are aware of the matter and have been in contact with the club. We follow all legal developments. We have no further comments this time. Now, I think, thankfully we haven't had many domestic violence issues in the NFL lately. But I think what's going to happen is they're going to put him on the equivalent of a commissioner's list, whatever they call it, make him ineligible to play. And I guess, and they'll go from there. But it's all, it's all speculative right now. But like SJ said here, the news doesn't sound good. And, I could give my opinion about this, that, and the other thing, but my main opinion is just don't put yourself in that position. There's a couple of positions I like to put a woman in, but, not a violent position. Because like I said, even with the rough sex issues with Trevor Bauer, and I don't want to say they were unfounded. Like I said, with his rough sex things, what he considers rough and what a female partner considers rough can be two totally different things. And that's why I'm, oh, why aren't you choking me? Because what I feel is rough and what you feel is rough is two different things. And it's just a common sense thing and whatever. But, that doesn't look good. Especially a pregnant girlfriend. Now, they've been together for 7 years, so it's not like it's just some new relationship. They said here that there was an incident in 2021 that was under investigation by Parker, Colorado police, but no charges were filed. I didn't even get a chance to look up Von Miller, Parker, Colorado, but they said that there was no real information anyway in the article that I have here. But I'll tell you what, the one thing I will say, no matter what, just don't put yourself in that position. Okay. But I understand that sometimes you're just going to put yourself in a bad position. And there's nothing you can do. And, it may be later in the day. It may be the moment you flee like he did. You'd be like, when things calm down, it's like, what the hell did I do? And, I don't know what they're going to do with him with suspensions or anything like that. But it is a bit concerning that, because there was something that happened in 2021, even though there wasn't any information. So I don't know. The best I can say is there was something going on, and hopefully this is something that really is going to be hanging around for a while. And you know, hope the baby's okay. Hope that she's going to be okay. You know, I just think that sometimes you just get into a situation where I don't want to say these things happen, but I think you get to a point where you just don't, you're just so angry that you lose all sense of common sense or whatever you call it. So, hope his girlfriend is okay, and the baby as well. On to more non-violent football stories. It was announced today, earlier this afternoon, that the Philadelphia Eagles were flexed to the Monday night game. And SJ is back. Yay. She did it. But Eagles Seattle got flexed to the Monday night game. And because it's a Sunday to Monday game, I think you have to give like an extra week as opposed to a Sunday night flex from a Sunday afternoon game. And you have all these games on there. You had all these games, and they had to announce the games now because you had 3 Saturday games that week 15, the week before Christmas. So they had to announce the Saturday games eventually. They did that today. And Patriots and Chiefs got flexed to 1 o'clock Sunday on Fox. And the Eagles and Seahawks turn out to be the Monday night game. Some Eagles fans are complaining because obviously they were thinking it's a Sunday afternoon game. You either take a red eye home or you go back early Monday. I'm not a fan of red eyes. Then again, I've never been on a red eye. I'm just afraid that if I took a red eye, like for example, if I took an Alaska Airlines flight from Seattle back to Philly, I'm afraid that I'll be making 2 more trips or having to deal with a flight attendant or whoever else, who knows, maybe even TSA or whoever, or a marshal or whatever, waking me up because, if I sleep a full 4 hours, I'll probably sleep another 4 on top of that and be on my way back to Seattle because, what they do with, at least with the Philly flights, is they go Seattle to Philly, Philly back to Seattle, and they go back and forth with nonstop flights. And that is a bear of a flight. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles get out there on Saturday for the Monday game because that's a 5.5-hour flight, and it is not a fun flight. And, I usually try to fall asleep a little bit on that flight when I go see my friends out there. But in unrelated news, now it's not really Eagles news, but of course, Eagles Twitter was getting a little hyped up because Zach Ertz, who ironically we were talking about earlier today, SJ, because I was telling her about the one team name I had. I changed the name from Fly Quills Fly to my ball Zach Ertz. Well, J.J. Watt has turned into an Adam Schefter, an Adrian Wojnarowski. J.J. Watt requested his release and was granted it today. He's on waivers with the intent to release. He plans to sign with a contender to make a run at his second Super Bowl ring. He has to pass through waivers. He's 33. And probably, let's pretend. Because, I just get the feeling he's not coming back. Because they're trying to bring Dallas Goedert back for the San Francisco game. And if not for the San Francisco game, definitely the Dallas game. You could have the same setup as a couple of years ago, except maybe the positions are reversed where Goddard is TD1, Ertz is TD2. But he's eligible to return. He was eligible to return after 4 weeks because he suffered a a quad strain. And he's been on injury reserve since October 24th. He was not he was eligible to return, but they didn't start his window to return. So I don't know what they're going. I don't know what's going to happen. I imagine it's going to be a situation like Shaq Leonard right now. Nobody decided to pick up Shaq Leonard on waivers. Became a free agent. He was in Dallas the other day. He was in Philly yesterday or today. And I imagine Zach Ertz is going to be the same thing here, where you would imagine nobody picks him up. Nobody picks up that contract. They give him a fresh contract. And also, if you give him a fresh contract, the cap hit's going to be like this, you would think. So, but that was something that came up today as well. So, I'm interested in seeing what happens. Do I think he comes back to the Eagles? It wouldn't surprise me, but it wouldn't surprise me he goes elsewhere. I don't think he goes to Dallas because I think they have enough. I think they got two good tight ends in Schoonmaker and Ferguson. But San Francisco, ooh, that's the other team I wouldn't want him with. Now Baltimore's an option because they lost their tight end for the year. And SJ agrees with me. It's nice to know that I'm right once in a while, even though I admit I am not afraid of you telling me I'm totally wrong. So, and I just to let SJ know what I tell you guys on the podcast, on the stream, constructive criticism is appreciated. And, if you tell me I'm an asshole, that's not constructive criticism because I already know I am one. Give the reason why I am. Okay? But SJ won't call me one yet. Give her time. She will. But I did see this today. And I'm going to bring up I'm going to show my age in a little bit, SJ. So SJ is going to be right back again. USC announced today that Bronny James has been cleared by doctors to return to basketball just over 4 months. Wait, how many months has it been? 4 months after having cardiac arrest in a workout, a summer workout. And obviously, you're at a school like USC where you have a world famous medical facility. I think it's USC Keck, KECK, and there's other USC medical facilities that I don't think that they would lead him astray. And I also think as well, because they had a cardiac arrest incident last year where a kid came back. I shouldn't say kid. He is, he is a young adult. He's 18 years old, 18 or 19. So, it'd be nice to get your star freshman on the court, but, health is more important. And you want to make sure he's okay to go out there because you don't want an incident like with what happened with Hank Gathers. And SJ disappeared. And, the one thing I would say when I mentioned Hank Gathers, I have visions of Hank Gathers, who ironically was at USC, transferred across town to Loyola Marymount. He had the heart issues, and unfortunately, he basically died on the court because he had a congenital defect. He had a defect with his heart. Bronny was found to have a defect with his heart. Um, but um, but the family said that the James family would like to express their gratitude to the incredible medical team, the entire USC community, especially the countless friends, family, and fans for their love and support. Fight on, because that's the USC slogan, fight on. But um, Bronny is 19. Okay, so he suffered cardiac arrest on July 24th during a USC practice and was hospitalized for 3 days in LA. Underwent a procedure to treat a congenital heart defect. Now, when I see the words congenital heart defect, I think of Hank Gathers. And the reason why I think about him, and I bring it up, it's like, I mean, I said it a couple of times on Twitter. I was like, I said it over the summer. I said, one thing I can think of is Hank Gathers. And it's like, dude, you're talking about something from 30 years ago. I'm like, I know. And I will tell you that science and technology has changed over the years. And, no matter what it is, you can actually, everything advances in the medical industry, in the science industry. Everything advances. You find things, that you never imagine. So when I see congenital heart defect, I think of Hank Gathers, even though it's 30 years ago. And some people were giving me shit about mentioning something from 30 years ago. And I said, listen, it only takes one. And unfortunately, that case that was a scary thing. And thankfully it wasn't, back then in 1990, I think it was, he did not, the game wasn't on, it wasn't on ESPN. I don't even think there was an ESPN2 at the time. There might have been. But anytime you see that, it's just a sad thing. Being that he was a Philly kid, went to Dobbins High School in North Philly, same high school as Don Staley, another Philly legend, who's now the coach at South Carolina. You got to be really careful with something like this because, it may be that, we don't know details of what happened. It wasn't the Damar Hamlin situation where it was like in the middle of a play on Monday Night Football. We don't know what happened. But whatever it was, and I'm sure because they record all the practices, and I think TMC got the video, which I think I was calling them scumbags for showing the videos. And Seattle scores a touchdown there, Geno Smith. But there was a flag on the play. But truthfully, I don't. I'm worried about that, but kind of like anything in the medical field, trust your doctors, trust your family doctor, trust the doctors that are working within the team, because it's all about, you got to have trust in your doctors. I know that's one reason why I explained to the doctor I was with today, because he was asking me a couple of questions. I said for a while I wasn't even going to a doctor because I didn't tell him why, but it was because the doctor I had been with was really rubbing me the wrong way. So, but keep your eyes on that, and we'll see here. So it's LeBron's kid, and we know how polarizing LeBron is. Also, with the fact that whether you love him or you hate him or laugh at the fact that he got a technical foul the other night for flopping, The king of the flops got called on one apparently. Um, you know, it could be your kid, it could be a family member, it could be anything. But I don't wish that on my worst enemy. And you hope for a long life. You know, when these situations come up like this, it's not about playing basketball. It's about the quality of life. And hopefully the doctors made the right decision and they said, listen, you're going to be okay, blah, 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 whatever. So, but hopefully he will be okay and we'll go from there. So I do want to talk about one other thing here, and let me just make some notes here. Okay, so on to my next point I wanted to make. And this is probably going to be the first point I was going to make, but kind of like what I said at the beginning. Whenever I create my show, I will put on there planned. And this is something that came up yesterday and I always have Twitter up. Sorry, I'm not calling it X. It's still Twitter to me, damn it. Kind of like the guy that was talking to Terry Funk years ago. It's real to me, damn it. Well, to me, it's still Twitter, damn it. But hold on. Okay. That wasn't what I thought it was. So good. I was thinking that was going to be something else here for, somebody posted something on one of the Discord things. I thought it was SJ sending me a message because she said she was going to be right back. She probably got sick of me. Whatever. It happens. Everybody gets sick of me at some point. All right. I kid around. It's my deprecating humor. And I remember the one time I said it's my deprecating humor. My mom thought I said defecating humor. Yeah, my humor is shit, but I do have that joking sense there. But anyways, there was something that came up, and I saw it yesterday, and I even mentioned to SJ. At least I think I did when we were talking earlier today. There was a basketball game last week, and I'm trying to find it here. Okay. Last Friday? Yeah, last Friday was the 24th. Okay. Both benches cleared. And I'm going to show this video here, but you're not going to be able to I just had to give her a hard time because she said, right meow. I said, did Noelle, her cat, say that? But that's the humor you have to deal with me. Sometimes my humor misses, but so I'm going to show you this video. I'm not going to be able to play it on here, but I'm not going to be able to play the sound on it because the sound only works with it only works with YouTube videos. So this is from last Friday, and it was over the holiday weekend. I guess Robert Morris in Jacksonville, I think it is. They did not. I don't know if this was a holiday tournament because last weekend was holiday weekend or holiday tournament weekend. So here you go. So I'm going to share my screen here. It's this video here. And Jacksonville's up 53-52. And you can see there the whole team, both teams are out on the court, which are not supposed to be. But you see there, that's what. But you see the fighting that's going on there. So all the players that came off the bench were all ejected. So they were playing 5-on-5 the rest of the game. I don't think anybody was. I don't think they had a 5-on-4 situation where once you foul out, that's it. Obviously there's nobody else that's eligible to play, so you got to play 5-on-4. Kind of like in the Hoosiers movie where my guys are on the court and they're playing. Hickory's playing 4-on-5. Yeah, that's right. I said 4. But actually, that's from the movie Hoosiers, by the way. But seriously, it's all. But the point I made, and I'll say this: I got reamed for it, and he had his good points. I didn't really go too much into my points because it's just like, okay, he has his points. I'm not getting into an argument over this because, as you know, I feel the NCAA, and I need to get rid of that. Zach Voy now said benches cleared in the Jacksonville Robert Morris game today. Every player on the bench at the time for both teams were ejected. Teams did not shake hands at the end of the game. Now, the one thing I tell you is the way they do the handshake line in basketball is extremely childish. I've said it a few times before. I'm not a fan of it. And the reason why I'm not a fan of it is, let's say you win a national championship. The other team's all lined up, ready to shake hands with you, and you're too busy celebrating on the court. Or, like, for example, one thing they do, one of the schools I saw a couple years ago, they got the ropes out to make sure the fans didn't get in the way of the team celebrating or, celebrating and the players shaking hands. I'm not a fan over this, what I call forced sportsmanship, where, okay, everybody get in a line, everybody have your hand out, everybody, forget what happened, forget that this other guy put an elbow in your back or anything like that. I'm not a fan of what they do. I mean, if you want to do something like that, go back to Little League. Because in Little League, not only are you teaching somebody how to play the game, you're teaching them sportsmanship. You're teaching kids how to win with class and to lose with dignity. Good games, stuff like that. You don't see it in professional sports in a line format like that, except for hockey. At least I don't think, because I don't really think that they do a formal line in the NBA. They don't do it in baseball. NFL is non-formal. I even think college football is informal. But you don't have anything that really tells you, let's do this. So I'm not a fan of it. I mean, it reminds me of my days of playing baseball years ago where, all right, game's over, line up. And sometimes you have guys sitting there for like a couple of minutes and, the other team's not ready to shake hands. They're too busy celebrating. And, as long as it's not anything that, where one team is showing up another team, I'm okay with not having a handshake line. The problem is it's so ingrained. And, like, for example, I think Mike Krzyzewski poisoned basketball forever despite his 11, 1,200, 1,300 wins, whatever it is. Remember a couple years ago where he chided an Oregon player for shooting a three in the final minute when the game was out of reach? Now, me personally, even though I probably would be pissed if I was the other team, if I was on his team and they're shooting threes up 10 or whatever it was, yeah, I could see that. But the thing is, I feel like even with the in-season tournament, because we got down to the final games the other night, and some teams had to win by a wide margin, and like the Knicks were running up the score on another team. Well, it's all part of the tournament. It's the way the format is because it's based on European soccer and the Champions League tournament that it's based off of. But whatever it is, like even Joel Embiid in the first game that they had against Detroit got pissed at that he he tried to shoot a three at the end of the game. But Joel Embiid knew the tiebreaker rules, probably because part of the reason why is he knows his soccer, probably because he is from Africa. But some people say, "Oh, it just doesn't feel like running up on another team." And maybe one show I'm gonna have to tell you, like for example, my NFL thinking behind running up the score on somebody. But I just think that this forced sportsmanship stuff has got to go. I'm okay with informal handshakes. I'm okay with that. But I'm not okay with, all right, everybody get in a line. Yeah, high school is the borderline for me because they're still kids, but you teach them how to be more professional. Even though they're technically not professionals in college basketball, even though the NIL money is way up there. Matt Rule said today that getting a quarterback in the transfer portal will cost you $1 to $2 million in NIL money. But it just really rubs me the wrong way, especially when you have something like the crowd storming the court, like the other night when Arkansas beat Duke. Ironically, it's Duke, but I didn't watch the game, so I didn't. I don't even notice. Half the time you don't even notice the line when you have fans storming the court because let's show fans storming the court because Arkansas hasn't been top 10 in a long time, let's say, and Duke is Duke, and you storm the court and you probably never get the handshakes in, but just a random game, I'm okay with them not. I'm okay with them getting rid of that because it is really a dumb thing that they do where you do have all these different things, getting in line, doing this, doing that. No, sorry, I don't believe in it. It's not that I don't believe in sportsmanship. I do. I just think that telling somebody that age who can vote, who can smoke, probably if they wanted to, they can. Well, they can't drink. Some of them can drink if they wanted to, but just to say, oh, you can't do this, or you have to do it this way. It's sophomoric, and no, I don't want it. And it just needs to go because I don't think they do it in baseball in NCAA. I think football. I think football is informal. Maybe I got to notice that tomorrow night when football's on. Since I'm on vacation, I got plenty of time to watch football and basketball and On Patrol Live, even because I'm a fan of that show. But we'll see. But I'm not a fan of it, and I encourage the NCAA to get rid of it. So let's get to the Philly fade here. And one thing I will promise you guys is Dallas scores a touchdown there. It was a rushing touchdown, I think, so it doesn't help me. Yeah, it was a rushing touchdown. Okay. Where am I going? I'm going to DraftKings. And for those that are listening and not watching, if you come over to No Filter, the one thing I will say is, I use DraftKings because I just show the screen. It's easier for me versus when I was just doing audio onlys over the last couple of years. It's just easier for me because I can just show my screen. I haven't reviewed these, so this is going to be interesting. So let me share my screen here. I'm going to pick a couple of games here, and we'll go from there. I haven't been keeping track of the stats, so since we are going to be in December in an hour and a half, start of the year I'll keep better stats. So I'll guarantee you that because I like to keep track of these things. I like to make fun of myself when I have a total shit situation here. So, okay, so I'm sharing my screen here. I'm showing you DraftKings. First game I'm looking at is the final Pac-12 championship game. Oregon and Washington are playing in Vegas. They had an unbelievable matchup back in October. One thing I will say here is I cannot believe that Washington is a 10-point dog here. Now, I could just say, just take the money line plus 300 here. I'm not. Because I get the funny feeling that this is going to be a close game, but I get the feeling Oregon will win. The winner of this game will probably get into the college football playoff. Normally, I would say, I think Washington's going to win. I'm going to play it safe here. And, it's okay. You can, even though I tell you, like when there's a line that's 1 or 1.5 points, we may get to that in the NFL side. We may get to it here. I haven't paid attention to what's on the screen here. But I can't believe this line is plus 10. I will take that all day, every day. I'm going to take Washington plus 10. I'm tempted to take the money line. I could just say take both. But I'm not the type of person that's going to make 2 wagers on the same game usually. I'm just going to play it safe here. Washington plus 10. And that's at minus 110. And we'll look to see what happens there in Vegas tomorrow night. Let's go to ironically enough, Las Vegas again. Boise State takes on UNLV. UNLV is a home dog here. I believe that game's in Vegas, right? Yeah, that's a game in Vegas. And thankfully, they use the artificial turf for the college game. So you don't have to worry about too much turnover there going from Pac-12 to Mountain West to NFL. I don't even know if the Raiders are home. We'll find out in a second. But UNLV lost to San Jose State last week. I think I told you to take UNLV last week. Boise State is a weird team to me. They even fired their coach a few weeks ago, and they're still winning. But I think UNLV is going to win that game. I'm going to take the money line there at plus 120. That's my pick there. Then don't worry about Army Navy. That's next week. Louisville and Florida State, that's a 1.5 point spread. And this is the perfect example that I'm mentioning here. The chances of Louisville losing by a point and covering this spread is extremely small. With that type of a spread, they're going to win that game outright. And I think they will win this game outright. So I'm going to go Louisville in an upset here. I think that they got sidetracked because of the fact that they had they played Kentucky last week. I think they were looking ahead to this week. They can knock Florida State out of the college football playoff with a win. I think they will knock them out. I'm going to take Louisville on the money line at plus 102. And then I'm going to have a party on Sunday, apparently. And finally, Michigan and Iowa. I'm going to buck the trend here. Michigan and Iowa, it's a 22 point spread. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take Michigan and Iowa over 34.5 at minus 112. I just think Michigan will finally put Iowa over on a game, even though the play for weeks upon weeks and however long it was, it's been to play the under. I'm going to take the over there. So my 4 picks tomorrow night: Washington plus 10 at minus 110. I want to take the money line, but I think that's going to be a close game either way. UNLV, I am taking the money line plus 120. Louisville money line plus 102. And the Michigan-Iowa game, I'm taking the over 34.5 at minus 112. And if you're daring enough to play a 14 parlay, it's at plus 1505. So, I think I gave out a parlay a couple of weeks ago, even though I said that wasn't my official pick, but it still happened. So, so indeed, that is the case. So those are my college picks. Then the NFL. Right now, it's 28-27 Seattle late in the third. Dak Prescott's got me almost 20 points ready tonight. Let's begin in Pittsburgh. We were talking Arizona a little bit. I was saying on SJ's Discord today that Jonathan Gannon may be a little bit, maybe just a little bit off. I think he may eventually be the right guy. He may prove that. It's just that right now, I just don't believe that he's a 1 year. I don't think he's one and done. I just think that he's got a bad situation with Kyler Murray and the fact that he just has a bad situation he's trying to help fix. And, if they give him 2 to 3 years to try to fix that and get a progression toward getting back into contention as a team, into playoff contention, he may be the guy, even though we bashed him here in Philly all last year even. But I think that Pittsburgh is finally getting on track after Matt Canada got fired. And it is supposed to rain on Sunday, I believe. Let me just see here. It is supposed to rain here in Philly on Sunday, so I guess it's going to be an East Coast thing again, where it's going to rain. I think Pittsburgh finally is getting on track with their offense. Matt Canada apparently was the problem after all, even though I still not completely sold on Pickett, the quarterback, but I'm going to take Pittsburgh minus 5.5 here. I think the Pittsburgh wins by double digits, low double digits. It won't be a 30-point blowout, but we'll see. Second game I'm going to take here. Denver plays Houston. And Denver has gotten back, and they've actually started to look like a football team after they gave up 70 points to the Dolphins in September. I'll tell you what. They may not make the playoffs, but they're in contention now, being where is it? They're 6-5 right now. Houston's 6-5. They had that tough loss to Jacksonville, and I think Denver is finally buying into Sean Payton. And I'll tell you what, and some people say CJ Stroud is an MVP candidate. He may be a candidate, but I don't think he's going to win. I think it's Jalen Hurts is to win. I'm going to take Denver in an upset here at plus 140. I'm going to skip the Eagles for a second. LA Rams take on Cleveland. You could be seeing the return of Joe Flacco for Cleveland on Sunday, who's been with the team about 2 weeks. So even though he's a veteran, I'm sure he doesn't know everything about the offense. But I got to take the Rams here, you would think. So I'm going to take the Rams minus 3.5 after they trounced Arizona last week at minus 3.5. Then the main event of the week, even though you do have Kansas City and Green Bay, even though you do have Kansas City and Green Bay on Sunday, I guarantee you that they tried to flex out of this, and Fox said, screw you, we're not doing it. Because each network can block one game. I guarantee you they really don't want to show the Packers, even though the Packers are a draw. I guarantee that. But San Francisco has been talking crap since they left Lincoln Financial Field to go home for the offseason, and the Eagles were going to the Super Bowl. They've been talking trash the whole time. And there's something special going on in Philadelphia. And if the Eagles win this game, they can put San Francisco 3 games back, which will actually be 3.5, because of the fact that you have a team here that is 10-1, and San Francisco's 8-3. Now, if the Eagles lose this game, they lose the next game, all of a sudden, San Francisco has the tiebreaker. So this is an important game in so many facets. And I just think the Eagles, it's amazing what Jalen Hurts can do. Sometimes you got to build your offense. The quarterback has to do the offense. He has to get used to the OC or the coach's offense. In a way, the Eagles, as I'm watching the Eagles Dallas Seattle game here to my left, this game is a huge game, even for being 2 games up in the standing, because if the Eagles win this game, they're 3 games up on San Francisco, 3.5 to go. And if this game holds in Dallas tonight, Eagles are going to Dallas if they win this game, 3 games up, and 12-1. They could clinch a division next week if all these scenarios that happen. Eagles can clinch a playoff berth next week. But we're not going to worry about playoffs. We'll let the mathematics and analytics of that happen with all the games that are going to be playing this weekend. And I haven't seen anything on NFL.com or made an attempt to look to see if the Eagles clinch this week. But let's say they do. But either way, Eagles are going to win this game. I think that once again they have to deal with all the BS from San Francisco. They had to deal with it last year with Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy has an opportunity to prove that he is the guy, even though he is the guy. He has to prove himself that he is the guy. Being Mr. Irrelevant last year, but this year, it's Jalen Hurts' league this year. He's the MVP, and Eagles winner chicken dinner. They will go to 11-1, kind of like the way my fantasy football team is right now. They go 11-1. I'm going to take the Eagles at plus 136. So, wow, big play there by Charbonnet of Seattle. So just to give you my NFL picks for the weekend. Pittsburgh minus 5.5 at minus 110. For those that are listening, you're going to say when I say this, I thought you said Denver was plus 130, plus 140. Well, because these odds do change over time and, things happen like this, the money line went from plus 140 to plus 130. That's okay. It's just that we are going to go with the plus 130 that they're giving me right here on the bet slip here that I'm using here to show you when I'm playing. The LA Rams minus 3.5 at minus 110. Eagles money line plus 136. Even though when SJ was in the room here, I did tell her. That I was going to take the Eagles today. So those are my 4 NFL picks. And if you're crazy enough to play this parlay that I have on the screen here, it's plus 1878. That's not part of my picks this weekend. It's just the 4 singles. So those are my 4 picks here. So, and like I always say, when I make these picks, I make this comment every once in a while, just to make sure you guys know that these picks are free. You can play these picks, you can fade me, or you can just ignore me. I'm okay with it because this is all just in good fun. It's all in good fun that I never got the stats started when season 3 of this podcast kicked off. So, but we'll get to that tomorrow. We'll get to that when I come back on Tuesday. Thinking of starting earlier, but I'll think about it. I'll create the podcast this week. I know SJ was having issues, but I do appreciate her for interacting with me in the chat. And if you come on over to No Filter, we have the knocker room. You knock, I bring you in, we talk. If I don't like you, I kick you out. Whatever. No, I won't do that, but you get the idea. So, I'm here every Tuesday and Thursday at 9:15 p.m. All my information is right there. Joe Quills on Twitter. Joe at Bleacher Brothers. I got to get into that email, and bleacherbrothers.com. So that is it. Going to be it for me. Do want to thank everybody for joining me tonight. Do want to thank SJ for coming into the room and admitting she's my stalker. Nice to have a stalker like her. Hopefully she doesn't see that or hear. But anyways, do want to thank everybody for even those that are watching or listening after the fact, because I put this on YouTube. I put this through Spreaker to distribute to all the podcasts, and rate me on iTunes as well, on Apple Podcasts, 5 stars. Get me in the algorithm, and we'll go for there. So thank you so much for joining me tonight. And I'm on vacation from my real job, so that gives me much more time, and may even be additional shows. Who knows? But no matter, who knows what I'm going to do this week, but it's going to be a staycation. I got a party here on Sunday apparently now with Mike, and whatever. So thank you so much for listening, watching, joining me, and I'll catch you Tuesday night. This has been the Philly Guy Speaks podcast, part of Bleacher Brothers Sports Network. Check bleacherbrothers.com, and also check my article that'll be posted tomorrow with my pick for the opening day race, opening day feature at Gulfstream Park, opening day of their championship meet, which goes from December to April, beginning of April into March, whatever it is. So have a great night, everybody. Catch you Tuesday. Thanks for watching and listening. Good night.